Well, as I've talked about a lot, I am not an anti-vaxxer. My wife and I have both been vaccinated. Two of my daughters chose to get vaccinated. I talked with all of them about it, and I said, if you're a young, healthy, 20-something, 30-something, I don't think there's any benefit to the vaccine. The downside risk is unknown because this is the most untested vaccine ever to go to the marketplace, and I have no idea what it's going to mean or do, if anything, in 1 or 3 or 5 or 10 years. But I think that the unknown is worth including in your calculation. Washington State University is going to mandate that students be vaccinated to return to campus. And I heard from a fellow Coug dad who isn't very pleased with this. His name is Tim. He joins us here on the Dori Monson Show. Tim, good to talk to you. I appreciate you reaching out to me.
Hi, Dori. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and reading your email to me and to Washington State, we sound a lot alike on this topic, that we're not anti-vaxxers. You don't mind giving your kids the thoroughly tested polio and mumps, measles, rubella, and all of that. But you do have some questions about these COVID-19 vaccines, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I just don't understand the mandate, especially from a state school, for my daughter.
Well, and talk about some of the stats that you gave, because you went to, it sounds like your daughter's an athlete, a distance runner, right?
Correct.
Okay. And you went to the Johns Hopkins risk calculator, and what did you find out?
Well, when I put in her height, weight, and no underlying conditions and ran the risk calculator, it came back with a 0.9 per 10 million risk for her of death from COVID-19.
Okay. Less than 1 in 10 million. And how does that compare to some other risks that we face every day in life?
Well, like I told the president's office when I spoke to him, she's more likely to die in a car wreck, which is 1 in 106, and lightning strike, 1 in 15,300. I don't understand the analysis they've done to decide to mandate that students that are extremely healthy get the vaccine.
I don't either. And you said something very important a couple of minutes ago. This is a state school. I do make a distinction. PLU has announced that they're going to mandate vaccines. As a private school, I think it's within their right to do so. I have a real problem with a public school like Washington State. Everybody who works there is a government employee, and for the government to mandate something that you as a parent or your daughter may be uncomfortable with that has an unknown risk factor in the future seems horribly unconstitutional to me. I don't think the government should be able to mandate something like this.
No, and I mean, always it's your body, your choice, but apparently not in this situation. And I don't understand it for my daughter. She has almost immeasurable risk compared to unknown risk with a not a well-vetted or long-standing vaccine. And I've prepared her with all the normal vaccines. We've also added Hep A and Hep B over time, the HPV vaccine, meningitis as well.
Yeah.
So not against vaccines.
Right.
Just waiting for more data.
Yeah, we're the same way. Our daughters have been vaccinated against everything you just mentioned. But yeah, we just don't have the data. So you called the school. What did they tell you?
I explained to them my concern, and they were just rather just kind of blew me off and said, well, that's the decision we made. You can do these waiver things. And I go, yes, but your waiver qualifications also state that they won't be able to be on campus, that they have other things and other costs that we will incur as a result of your vaccine mandate. And so I proceeded to tell her, I guess I can, worst case scenario, have her transferred to a school in Florida or Texas that has had their students in class all year long.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and so what do you do as a dad? Because I will tell you, Tim, as a fellow Coug dad, my youngest daughter, she had a fantastic experience there. And even though my wife and I and our two oldest girls are Huskies, I also love Washington State because my youngest just had such a fantastic time and just blossomed and is doing really well professionally now. So what do you do as a dad when it comes down to injecting an untested vaccine that you have concerns about versus going to a university that's admitted your kid that I'm confident she would have a great time at?
No, and she enjoys WSU, and it's not like she wants to leave. But I said, I'm not on board with this because the risk is far higher for you, and it's unknown. And you're probably in the healthiest 0.1% of kids your age at 19, 20 years old.
Yeah. So what do you do? What are you going to do? Do you
know? I told her that she needs to consider and look at other options that she would want to transfer to school-wise. Because I go, if I'm going to contribute financially, I'm not going to do it under a government mandate, which in my opinion is unconstitutional to begin with, let alone morally and analytically incorrect.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right about all of those things. Is she okay with that?
She's not the most happy, but I've explained it to her. I've copied her in on the email I've sent the president's office at WSU. I've told her about the conversations. It's basically our dinner conversation every night. Yeah.
Man, this is so wrong. And as I said, I'm just wondering if there's going to be a class action lawsuit on. I wonder if there's some constitutional attorney out there who would take this on. And you said something else a couple of minutes ago. It's just ironic because Washington State, it's not as far left as the UW these days, but it's left. And they are always saying, leave our bodies alone. My body, my right is the quote you had. And yet now they're saying, but we, the government, are going to tell you what you must do with your body. That's ironic at best and a little twisted at worst.
No, and I mean, I have a mother turning 90. I recommended she get the vaccine because the risk calculation is different.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm opposed or unable to analyze my own risk. But the last time I checked, we were still a free country, especially when it involved government-funded or state institutions throughout the United States.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that huge distinction in my view between Washington State and PLU for that very reason. Well, like I said, I'd be interested to see if some constitutional attorney wants to take a crack at this one with Washington State. I wish they would. And will you keep me posted on what you and your family decide, Tim?
Yes, absolutely, Dori.
Okay. Hey, thanks for reaching out to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right. Fellow Coug dad Tim, whose daughter may transfer from Washington State because of their mandatory vaccine requirement to return to campus. I think it is absolutely wrong. I agree with Tim for government to force that on somebody who does not want it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can text me at 98973. That's 98973. Lots more to come here on the Dori Monson Show.